The OnePlus 8 is here, offering a modern design, improved performance, and so on. In classic OnePlus fashion, the device is cheaper than most other flagship level phones, coming in at only $700. But if you're looking for an inexpensive phone, perhaps you're looking to save as much money as possible, in which case, the Samsung Galaxy A51 may be on your radar. The A51 is aimed at delivering high-end features at an affordable price, and while there are clear compromises, at only $400 it may be worth the money. But which phone should you go for? Obviously this isn't a completely fair fight. The OnePlus 8 is a far better phone, but are the added features worth paying an extra $300? I've tested both phones. Here are my thoughts. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps support my work and I would appreciate some of that support. As with any new device, the first thing you'll notice about the phones is their design, and the design offers some similarities, along with some differences. On the front of both phones, you'll get a hole punch camera cutout. The Galaxy A51's in the middle of the display, and the OnePlus 8's on the left. The OnePlus 8 also features curved edges on the display. However, while it's a good look, OnePlus's palm detection isn't the best, and I did find that I accidentally controlled aspects of OnePlus's software on multiple occasions. The back of the phones is pretty different too. The Galaxy A51 has a rectangular camera bump on the top left, while the OnePlus device has a vertically aligned camera bump. The colours are different as well, but I actually like all the colours on these phones, especially OnePlus's Interstellar Glow, despite the fact that it seriously picks up fingerprints. Next up is build quality, and it's also a bit different. The OnePlus 8 is built from premium materials, including a glass back, while the Galaxy A51 is largely built from plastic. It does feel a little cheaper, but I actually don't mind the feel, and it's lighter too, which is a nice touch. Design-wise, there's one other feature that actually puts the Galaxy A51 ahead of the OnePlus 8, a headphone jack. That's really good news for those who still enjoy wired headphones. Generally, the OnePlus 8 looks and feels a little more premium, but with an edge-to-edge display and a lightweight feel, the Galaxy A51 has a lot to offer for a device in its price range. One of the major differences between the OnePlus 8 and the OnePlus 8 Pro is the fact that it has a lower resolution display, and the result is that the display experience on these two phones is similar. The OnePlus 8 has a 6.55-inch 1080p OLED display, while the Galaxy A51 has a 6.5-inch 1080p AMOLED display. The biggest difference here is that the OnePlus 8 steps up the refresh rate to 90Hz, which makes for smoother animations and a buttery feel. The OnePlus 8's display can also get brighter than the Galaxy A51, plus it looks good at more viewing angles. Under the display, both of these phones offer a fingerprint sensor, but while the OnePlus 8's fingerprint sensor is relatively fast, the Galaxy A51 sensor often didn't recognize my finger, and was usually pretty slow. The speakers on the OnePlus 8 are also quite a bit better than the Galaxy A51. Both phones can get decently loud, but the OnePlus 8 could get louder, and the speakers in the OnePlus phone are a lot more detailed. Here's a comparison of the speakers in both phones. Note that the audio will change considering my microphone, the room, and your speakers or headphones, but at least you can get an idea of the difference between the two phones. Then there's the performance, and it's a major point of difference between the two devices. The OnePlus 8 is a flagship phone, offering a Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 processor coupled with either 8GB or 12GB of RAM, and 128GB or 256GB of storage. The Galaxy A51 has a mid-range Samsung Exynos 9611, with either 4GB, 6GB or 8GB of RAM, and either 64GB or 128GB of storage. The result is that the OnePlus 8 offers a smooth performance both in day-to-day use and during heavy multitasking and mobile gaming, and the device never really stuttered or paused. The Galaxy A51, on the other hand, regularly stuttered during use, plus it took much longer to load certain apps and to multitask. The performance difference is confirmed in benchmarks, with the OnePlus 8 seriously beating the Galaxy A51 in all benchmarks. The battery on the phones is a little different too. The OnePlus 8 has a 4300 mAh battery, while the Galaxy A51 has a 4000 mAh battery. That said, both of these two phones will get you through a full day of even relatively heavy use, though don't expect a whole lot longer from either. Neither of the two phones has wireless charging, but they do have fast charging of some kind. Of course, the 50-watt OnePlus fast charging is a whole lot faster than the Galaxy A51's 15-watt fast charging tech. Next up is the camera, and it's pretty different too. The OnePlus 8 has a triple lens camera with a 48 megapixel main sensor, a 16 16 megapixel ultra-wide sensor and a 2 megapixel macro sensor, while the Galaxy A51 has a quad lens camera with a 48 megapixel main sensor, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide sensor, a 5 megapixel macro lens, and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. The Galaxy A51 actually takes decent photos in well-lit environments, but unfortunately for the A51, OnePlus has put a lot of work into its phone cameras, and that translates to the OnePlus 8. The OnePlus 8 is able to take relatively deep and colourful photos, and while they're not always the most natural color-wise, they're definitely higher quality than the Galaxy A51. That's even more pronounced in low light. The Galaxy A51 simply isn't able to take decent shots in low light situations, and while the OnePlus 8 doesn't take great shots in low light, at least it can take decent ones. The software experience is also very different. The OnePlus 8 has OnePlus's Oxygen OS, which is stripped back and easy to use. Samsung's One UI is the Android skin you'll get on the Galaxy A51, and it's a lot better than previous Samsung Android skins, but still can feel cluttered at times, especially considering the fact that there is a decent amount of bloatware in the device. The trade-off of that relatively cluttered feel is that One UI offers more customization and features, and while some of those features will be very niche for some users, others will appreciate the ability to tweak the software experience. There are other major differences too, but you can see a more in-depth comparison of Samsung's One UI and stock Android through the link in the description. Then there's 5G support. However, the OnePlus 8 is the only device with 5G support, and even then, it only supports low-band 5G. Safe to say, if you want full 5G support, including millimeter wave, you'll need to keep looking, though for most the low-band 5G support should be enough. So, is the OnePlus 8 really worth the extra cash? Well, yeah, it is. If you don't mind spending the extra cash, you'll get a better design, better display, better camera, much better performance, and so on. The OnePlus 8 really beats the Galaxy A51 in pretty much every category, except for the fact that the Galaxy A51 has a headphone jack. If you don't have the money, I still wouldn't recommend the Galaxy A51, considering that for the same price you can get the fast-performing iPhone SE. Check out the description for links to buy these phones. Thanks so much for watching, and again, please subscribe to the channel if the video was helpful. My name is Christian, and I'll see you next time. See ya.